This is going to be a bit of a shorter video. Hot take incoming, but I think BFDIA's Final 4 is kind of mid. I mean, like, I don't hate these 4, however, it feels kind of weird that if Coiny gets out, 2 of the final 3 are just friends. And yeah, Season 1 did have that dynamic with Fiery and Leafy, but Bubble was still friends with Leafy. There's no way on earth that Book's getting out, and if Needle gets out, that's just 3 characters that have barely talked to each other before. But that's not the whole point of this video. In today's video, I'm just going to talk about each character briefly and which one I want to win. So firstly, I'll talk about Coiny as he has the least to say and because I want him to get out next. It's kind of funny, I've heard multiple people talk about how the writers are trying to make people sympathize with Book, yet the entirety of the ending of BFDIA 20 is literally just the writers trying to get everyone to like Coiny more. To be honest, if it weren't for BFB and Teapot, Coiny would probably be out way sooner. Like, he wouldn't probably be one of the first boots, but he's probably not one of the characters that would stay in too long. He is shown to be a bit more competitive than the others, but this is a competition-based show, so that doesn't really make him that unique of a character. Kinda wish we got to see more of Coiny hating Fiery in some of the episodes before Fiery got out, as I don't think they've ever gotten to a slapping fit, not even once this entire season. Although it would be kind of funny if Coiny won the season immediately after his arch nemesis won the season. As overrated as Tennis Ball is in Teapot, I think he's alright in BFDIA. I kind of wish BFDIA 19 and 20 kind of reached into Tennis Ball being more villainous, I guess. Also, for being a smart character, we never really got him see Tennis Ball use much of his smartness to build stuff, as in BFDIA 22, he doesn't even make the Crusher. Like, it wouldn't be too hard just to make it so Tennis Ball built it, making his whole, inventor shtick a bit more interesting. Kind of wish that they did more with the Tennis Ball and Needle deal, like maybe have it so Needle can only affect the challenge for Tennis Ball in one way, and Tennis Ball having to work around the challenge with said way. Like maybe Needle can say that Tennis Ball isn't allowed to drag Leafy anywhere, so he has to try to guess where everyone else is going and take the flag for himself. Also, am I the only person that finds it kind of funny that Tennis Ball does not take any direct responsibility for trying to steal something off of Ruby? Like, I know this is a BFDIA video, but in Teapot, after episode 15, it'd be kind of interesting seeing Tennis Ball, feel guilty for actually kind of starting the world gonna end, because yeah, Nickel interfered, but Tennis Ball still made a device that had the capabilities of doing that. The writers choosing to bring Needle of all characters into Free Smart was probably the best choice they can make, as Needle was made way more interesting being on that team. Needle and Ruby were quite fun in episode 12 and episode 13, and Needle deciding to make her final decision to stay with Free Smart was pretty cool, and in episode 14 Needle and Pencil worked together and it was quite fun as well. In episode 15, the quasi-Rombis were kinda neglected, so we didn't get to see much of Needle, but hey, maybe we could see more interactions with Needle and Book since we haven't had much of those next episode. In BFDIA 16, Needle just swaps between Free Smart and Wool Bunch over and over again, and it was kind of annoying bit, not gonna lie, because Needle didn't get much time on either of those teams, so she's just made more boring on both sides. Also, the whole post-it note to show that she's playing on both sides was kind of just a mental thing, so that way Pen and Pencil didn't think that Needle was working for the other team. It was never an established rule, so Needle getting Free Smart out was kinda dumb, and also Pen kills a bunch of people for no reason and is still more liked apparently. It's really weird Needle deciding to work with Wool Bunch that one episode, because Needle really wants to be separate from Wool Bunch, so her deciding to work with both teams feels really out of character for her, especially after being shown to be more challenge focused in later episodes. But yeah, Needle mostly being a solo player was kinda cool for her, and BFDIA 20 near the end in that scene with her and Book was also quite nice. For me personally, the only reason I really like Book way more than the rest of the characters is just her dynamic with Free Smart. It was really fun to see all the characters there. Looking back, it'd probably be way more interesting if it was Ruby that stayed over Book in BFDIA 15. And I also like how in BFDIA 21 and 22, Book is constantly looking out for Needle because Tennis Ball's trying to find a way to sabotage Needle despite their deal. Also, I feel like Book's one of the prime examples of BFDIA post-hiatus keeping the personalities of the Teapot versions of the characters. Because in Teapot, Book is way more nicer and calm after the whole deal with Talkhole. However, if you look back in BFDIA, Book literally just froze people because they made really bad jokes. There's not too much to say about Book, I just kind of like her, and I kind of hope she wins this season. You might notice that this video is a bit shorter, and it's because I'm going to try to make more shorter videos. Mainly because we're rearing that time where Teapot and BFDIA both release new episodes. And yeah, I don't have much else to say.
Now that that's taken care of, we can finally start the battle for the power of 10!